Empty airports, fewer flights, grounded planes. The pandemic has clobbered the airline industry, devastated by an estimated $35 billion in losses last year. But Delta CEO Ed Bastian is optimistic, and he may have good reason. More than 1 million Americans flew yesterday, and airports saw more traffic Friday than they have in a year.
We've seen people already rushing to beaches as some of the restrictions are lifting. How will that impact air travel?
As the case counts are coming down in meaningful levels, as the vaccinations are starting to grow, people are ready to reclaim their lives. And we're seeing bookings pick up. People are anticipating what their spring and summer plans are going to look like.
Bastian says business travel, which is needed to fill the seats and make money, has dropped 80%, and he thinks it could take up to 2 years for that to recover, as many businesses have discovered the benefits of virtual contact. Up to 2 years for international flying, too, and he anticipates some type of vaccine passport for overseas flights.
Internationally, that's probably going to be a requirement.
Let me ask you about the hesitant flyer. People have done a good job of locking down at home and are a little nervous about this idea of getting on a plane. What's your broad message to those who say not yet?
Confidence is being restored, but I do appreciate the anxiety as they get back out for the first time into the airports and in the skies.
Even though all its competitors have started selling middle seats, Delta plans to continue blocking them through the end of April.
Once people continue to gain confidence in travel, well, we'll have no choice but to sell and give them the opportunity to sit in the middle seat, but we're not ready to make that decision.
And as states begin to drop mask mandates, the FAA still requires them on all flights. Delta has banned 1,200 customers for not wearing them.
Do you think that masks will be as ubiquitous as put your seat in the upright position and put your seatbelts on?
I certainly don't think so. Once the virus is in a contained form, you're probably going to still see some customers wearing masks. But I hope once we're confident as a society that we've conquered this virus, that we'll be able to return to life as we knew it. And that will include being able to fly safely on planes without having to wear masks.
To reassure business travelers, Delta has been bringing companies into airports to show them the lengths they are going to keep airplane cabins safe and clean. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.